The Hilux has been the global icon for decades, a truck you'll find hauling loads in the Australian outback, running errands through Southeast Asia, or tackling muddy trails in South America. As a matter of fact, it's tougher than anything you can buy at an American dealership right now. That's exactly why every rumor about a US debut has the truck people fired up. Toyota owns the midsize segment with the Tacoma, but let's be honest, its reputation has taken a few hits because of the build quality that isn't as bulletproof as it once was and the new complex engines. When you add in the recent rollback on emission standards, suddenly the stage looks set for something bolder. A diesel option, for example, could sneak back into the conversation. That's the move Hilux is perfectly positioned to deliver. Here's the deal. Toyota is refreshing the Hilux for 2026. That much is confirmed. The question is whether this update finally signals a green light for US showrooms. Can the legend that's been tested everywhere else in the world finally prove itself on American soil? Let's break down what we know so far. The 2026 Hilux update. The truck has worn the same face for too long. The 2026 model year brings a serious refresh inside and out to keep the pickup competitive and, more importantly, ready for a possible US debut. The current exterior design feels dated next to the sharp, aggressive lines of trucks like the Tacoma and Ranger, as well as direct rivals Nissan Navara and Mitsubishi L200. That's why Toyota is giving the Hilux a tougher front fascia with a larger grille, slimmer LED headlights, and a squared-off stance that matches what American buyers expect in a pickup. Think less global utility truck and more workhorse DNA. The cabin overhaul is just as important. Right now, the interior is functional, but lagging behind what American truckers demand. For 2026 Toyota Hilux, we'll notice some of the Tacoma's design language. A fully digital driver display, a large infotainment screen, wireless Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. The seats are also expected to get a redesign, adding more bolstering and power adjustments. Such things aren't luxuries anymore, they're standard expectations. Toyota's goal with these updates is clear. They're not just refreshing a global icon, they're reshaping it to fit the US audience. The Hilux can't look or feel basic if it's going to stand next to Tacoma in the showroom. By giving it a more rugged exterior and a tech-heavy, comfortable interior, Toyota is setting the stage for an American launch that doesn't feel forced, but natural. The diesel question. If there's one thing missing in the American midsize pickup market, it's a proper oil burner. Truckers have been asking for it, and the last serious player, the Chevy Colorado Duramax, was quietly retired, leaving a gap that no one has stepped in to fill. But with the recent rollback on emission standards, that door just cracked open again, and the Hilux, already proven worldwide with a stout powertrain under the hood, is exactly the rig that could walk through it. The current lineup carries a 2.8-liter turbo diesel. A 4-cylinder unit is as efficient as it's tough, 201 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Such numbers matter when you're pulling trailers. Converted to towing capacity, this power and torque would be enough for around 7,700 pounds, which puts the 2026 Toyota Hilux right in line with the best-in-class pickups. On the other hand, Toyota hasn't committed to bringing that diesel to the US yet. On paper, it makes perfect sense, but there's hesitation. Dropping a Hilux with a gas engine into the States would overlap directly with the Tacoma, which already fills that slot. The only way to stand out here is by offering something different. An oil burner is the obvious play. Whether Toyota is willing to make that bold move is still a question mark, but if they do, it could shake up the midsize segment overnight. 2026 Toyota Hilux Champ. Recently, you might have come across some unusual headlines. Toyota launching a pickup with a sticker price in the $20,000 to $25,000 range. Sounds almost impossible in today's market, but that's exactly what the Hilux Champ goes for in the smaller regions where it's already on sale. At first glance, it looks like a bare-bones work truck, the kind you dismiss as too basic for Americans. But don't underestimate Toyota. The company has made a career out of bold, calculated moves, and the 2026 Hilux Champ could be their next big thing. Ford proved with the Maverick that there's serious appetite for affordable pickups. The Hilux Champ isn't built in the same mold. It's more of a blank canvas. It's a small, chassis-based truck that owners can turn into practically anything: delivery hauler, mobile workshop, ice cream truck. That kind of versatility we simply don't get in the US market. Yet, what makes the Champ so interesting is that it doesn't try to compete with mainstream pickups. Instead, it carves out its own category, filling the gap between a compact crossover and a true work truck. Overseas, it's already proving useful in ways that a traditional pickup never could, and imagining that flexibility here gets truck geeks fired up. Release date. Right now, it's all about watching and waiting. The refreshed 2026 Hilux is set to break cover first in the markets where it's a proven superstar. Australia is the most likely stage. Once that happens, we'll get the clearest look yet at its new design, updated tech, and whether Toyota is finally serious about a US debut. If the timing lines up, American truckers could see a premiere later in 2026. But there's another piece of the puzzle. The diesel talk heated up when emission standards loosened, but new import tariffs make it tricky to bring in a truck at a price buyers would accept. If Toyota tried to ship the Hilux straight from Thailand or Argentina, it would be dead on arrival in terms of cost. That means the only way it makes sense is if the company figures out local production or some kind of workaround to keep the price competitive. The bottom line is, if Toyota believes there's a market, they'll find a way.